Sometimes in today's world, we concentrate on the problems of the family. And there certainly are issues and problems facing families in general and families in particular, my family, your family, anybody's family. But to do that and to concentrate only on the problems is to do a disservice to the family and to families in particular. I think that family is a setting for evangelization. Family is where we first hear the good news of Jesus Christ. And family is where we learn to live the good news of Jesus Christ. That's not to say that every family is ideal, but every family has the capacity to proclaim the good news to one another. I want to tell one example of this from my own family. I grew up hearing stories of my grandfather. He would often take me for walks or sit me in his kitchen or take me to his place of work and tell me stories. One that stands out for me is a story he told about his uncle. I never knew my great uncle, but he had trained my grandfather to be an engineer. And he taught him all the skills of the engineering trade. He taught him how to run a forge, how to make horseshoes, how to treat customers, how to run machinery, how to clean roads. He taught him all the skills that he knew as an engineer. In a way, my grandfather was the apprentice to his uncle. One of the stories that sticks in my mind is about a big fire that happened in my city in 1892. Much of the city was destroyed. 20,000 people were left homeless. My great uncle, his foundry, his business was not destroyed in the fire. But to stop the spread of the fire, they actually tore down his foundry. So he lost his business, but his office, which was further away, was not destroyed. After the fire, he took all of his books, his accounting books, built another fire, and threw the accounting books into the fire and burned them all. And when his wife said, "Why did you do that?" he said, "My customers have lost everything. How can I ask them to pay me?" When my grandfather told that story, he attached no meaning to it. He didn't give me the answer to the question I was asking. What does this mean? Why are you telling me this story? He left it to me to come up with my own answer. And as I grew up and thought about the story, it became clear to me that the answer was Uncle did not only apprentice my grandfather in the skills of being an engineer, he also apprenticed him in the skills of life and life as a Christian. He was a wise man and a compassionate man. And in doing what he did, and in telling my grandfather about it, he taught him something about being a businessman, a Christian businessman, and being a person of compassion, empathy, and love. Why did my grandfather tell me the story? Probably for the same reason, to teach me about being a person of compassion, empathy, and love. It's one thing to know my skill, to know my craft, for me, to be a good teacher. But it's another thing to be a Christian teacher, to be a teacher with compassion, to be a teacher with empathy, to be a person of love. So in my family, through my grandfather, I learned this lesson about what it means to be a Christian person in the world. It didn't have anything to do with prayer. It didn't have anything to do with Mass or liturgy, but it had everything to do with living as a Christian. So in our families, in the ordinary events and activities of our lives, we teach one another. We teach one another whether we intend to or not. And so I am grateful for my grandfather and this lesson that he taught me about living as a Christian in the world, ordinary holiness.